Good afternoon, everybody. Come on in. Give people some time just to come in. I just wanted to talk about some stuff I've been seeing in the news and on the YouTube streets lately. Some of this stuff is just getting outrageous. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about these Somalians and this fraud, and this stuff is deep. I mean, like, they have actually committed fraud of millions of dollars to where now they done shut down the child care assistance in a few states, which is like really crazy. These frauds and stuff, they definitely began to affect the stuff that is going on, and that America may need some of these services. But they definitely affect us, and they don't think about that. I just wanted to come on and see how everybody's been. I haven't been on YouTube going live in a few days. So I do want to start going live a bit often. And I do want to bake a cake today on live. So maybe at about 1:30, I'm going to come live and bake my very first pound cake. So if anybody cares to come back at 1:30 and watch me do my very first buttered pound cake. I'm a little nervous of making it. I'm not a good baker. I'm going to make some like a caramel glaze to go on top of my pound cake. Yeah, I just hope it's not dry. That's the only thing I do worry about with baking, is that my cakes will come out dry. I do pretty good with pies. I can bake pies pretty good. But I really just like to cook. Pies pretty good. So I don't know what people's been watching in the news, but I've been watching a lot about this Somalian whole vibe. Thanks for coming in. Good morning, girl. I wanted to talk a little bit about this Somalian fraud. This stuff is really deep. Like, these people have basically molested the social service in Minnesota. I was seeing that they was opening up these daycares and writing proposals and getting millions of dollars. Like, I seen the one video, I believe the guy's name is Nick Shirley, is the journalist that's doing a lot of this investigation. M1 Lou, thanks for coming in. I think that's what it say. I can't really see it. I have to turn on my other device. Thanks for coming in. But I see him go up on the video. I see the YouTuber go up to the door. He's talking to the lady about asking her right, and the buildings were empty, whole vibe. I seen a video where the guy goes up to the door and he's talking to the lady and he's like, where are the 112 children that you just got 1.2 million for in a food program? So not only are they getting money for possibly having the kids there, they're also getting money from these feeding programs. And then I also seen another fraud they were doing with Medicare and Medicaid medical transportation services. I guess they were opening up these services and was supposed to have been transporting people to and fro to their doctor's medical appointments. And here, there was no services ever being provided. Like these people, and then I know in the news I was reading that some of the states have closed down um, their child assistance program. Where now there's the program right now is closed down, so it has affected everybody. A lot of those mothers that need those child care services to go back and forth to work, now they can't even qualify for them. Or if they was getting them, then they gotta stop. It's just really bad. And then the first thing that these people scream is racism. This stuff is crazy. And then I just was reading in the news where I guess a couple guys were arrested because during an investigation it showed that they had got a substantial amount of money and funneled it to a terrorist group in Somalia. And then now this Somalian congresswoman, Ilham Omar, she's trying to get them out of jail and stuff. Like, come on, this stuff got deep ties. And I was doing my investigation on her, the Somalian congresswoman, and for her to become a citizen, she married her brother. So that should be, I don't even see how that was even legal. Because as we know, for us as Americans, we can't marry our brothers or sisters. So she married her brother to even become a citizen, to even run for office. Yes, whole vibe. Look up the information about her. She married her own brother. And then they were talking about her net worth. Her net worth in 2019, when she first became a citizen, they said was -0. Now her net worth today is worth, I think it was 3 million, or it was in the millions of dollars now what her net worth is. So what is the scamming that she's connected to? Because I believe that's what they did with those Somalis up there in Minnesota. They gave them all citizenship in this one district so this girl can run for office. And then I was looking at a couple of her speeches. In a couple of her speeches, she was talking as if America needs to conform to the Somalis and not the Somalis conforming to the American way. And that's one thing that I'm noticing about a lot of these immigrants, is that they want the benefits of being in America. They want all of the privilege that comes with being in America, but they don't want to be American. In order for you to gain all of those privileges and rights, you have to first be American. And I just think this immigration thing is definitely getting out of control. It's getting out of control, and it's deeper than rescuing people from war-torn areas or people that was displaced due to America influence or whatever have you. It's getting to where these people are feeling like they are entitled to come over here and get whatever they want. But yet, we become the face of the neglect or abuse of the system. And when I say we, I say the Black folks. I mean, the Black folks were once the face of all this fraud. But now you look at it, it's the immigrants that don't put nothing in the economy. They get all of these services, and let's be real. They get these services, they open up these stores, they get all this money, but they put nothing back into the economy. They don't hire Americans. They don't buy anything from America. And then on top of that, they're committing fraud. You look at the food stamp fraud and stuff that just went on. Most of those people were Arabic or Middle Eastern. They were some form of that denomination, which is like really crazy. It's just getting a bit weird. And I think a lot of Black folks need to better start waking up and paying attention to this, because the first thing they do is they try to put themselves in the class with us as Black folks. And I don't believe it. And in turn, they want nothing to do with us. And as we know, the Somalians are the first to say that they're not Black or African. That is more of a tribal, to me, that's a tribal nation. And then just recently in Somalia, you had them old 70, 80-year-old men that was crying about a law that was passed that said they could no longer marry minor children. And then they cried so much about that the law got reversed. Now tell me how pedophilic that is. These old men crying because they can't do pedo behavior. That stuff is just unreal. And I think as America dealing with these immigrants, this stuff is getting real bad for us. And I believe that until we can get it straightened out, these borders need to be closed. It's disgusting. Whole vibe. It is disgusting. I was watching those videos, and the more I seen them old men crying because they couldn't marry little girls that was old enough to only be their granddaughters or great granddaughters. I mean, these men, and then they talking about Allah. I don't think any, and I'm not bashing no one's religion. I'm not disrespecting nobody's religion, but I'm just speaking on what I know about the religion. That Muslim religion, to me, I don't understand it. And it is very unprotective of women. I see these Muslim men, they marry these women, they get them in these polygamy relationships, but to me, it's all a big finesse of women. They just finessing these women to take care of them. When I did a little research and talking to some Muslims about the polygamy thing of marrying multiple women, for one, the first wife has to agree with it. Everybody has to be on one accord, from what my understanding is, and that the husband has to be able to afford the wife all on an equal level. No one wife has precedence over the other. And I guess in order for a woman to be taken on as another wife, is they marry this woman because maybe she's struggling. Maybe she just lost her husband. Maybe she's trying to go to school and she's trying to go back to school, or she's an older woman whose husband died. Just it has to be beneficial for the woman as well as for the men. But from what I see with these Muslim marriages is that they are all one-sided, and that these women are being finessed by these Muslim men. So I don't know much about that Muslim religion, but I think a lot of people need to have their eyes open before they convert or consider that as their religion, to be a true Muslim. I'm saying a true respectable Muslim, because I have seen a lot of true respectable Muslim men. That I have seen. But this stuff with these immigrants and these fraud things, it's truly out of control. And I just believe that the reason that it is getting a lot of light is because they are dabbling into now white collar crime. Let's be honest, these crimes were, most of the suspects in these type of crime were old white men. Hi, in the safe zone. How you doing? Thanks for coming. Um, we just talking about stuff that was in the news. But I definitely think that stuff needs to be looked at. But it's just things is just getting real, and I just think us as black folks, we need to definitely let the petty bickering and disagreements pass, and we need to definitely start uh, supporting one another, uplifting one another, because this stuff is getting real. Can you give me 1 second? Well, like I said, I'm gonna be getting ready to make this cake at 1:30. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. But I'm gonna come back on. I'm gonna go live in the kitchen, and we can have a conversation in the kitchen while I'm cooking. And you all continue to have a blessed day. And I'm telling y'all, please keep your eyes and ears to the news, because this stuff is getting real. And it is definitely going to start affecting us if it isn't already affecting you all. So just have a good day, be blessed, and stay safe.